The hidden cost of always catching up. The fog I didn't know I was living in. Tuesday used to be the day I started feeling human again. The weekend was over. Monday had been survived. Tuesday was when I'd tell myself, okay, this is the week. This was the week I'd eat better. The week I'd get back to the gym. The week I'd finally build some momentum. I did the things that absolutely had to be done, but everything seemed to happen at the last possible moment. By the time I'd commuted to work, taught my classes, and squeezed onto a crowded train home, there wasn't much appetite left for making another good decision. There was only an appetite for eating lots of delicious food. I'd stop at the supermarket inside the station and buy something I could convince myself was healthy enough. How about a bento? It is Japanese, after all. That sounded responsible. Then I'd undo that logic by buying twice as much. Rice and fries, at least. That was the rationale. Chocolate usually found its way into the basket too. Looking back, the food wasn't really the problem. Only now do I realize how much mental energy I spent improvising. Every day arrived with another series of decisions that hadn't been made until the moment they demanded an answer. What am I eating tonight? Am I going to the gym? Can that wait until tomorrow? I'll start properly next week. None of those questions seemed particularly important on their own. Collectively, they occupied far more mental space than I ever realized. It was like living in a fog without realizing there was a fog. Then COVID arrived. Like everyone else, my world suddenly became smaller. The pace of life slowed enough that I could finally observe it instead of simply reacting to it. I started training at home. I drank less. I had more unstructured time than I'd had in years. What surprised me wasn't the extra time itself. It was what became visible once the constant noise began to fade. As I started feeling better physically, my thinking became clearer. I'd simply been spending so much of my time recovering from yesterday and reacting to today that tomorrow never had much of a chance. Without consciously deciding to become more organized, I began taking care of things immediately. Emails, household jobs, small errands. If something took 2 minutes, I stopped carrying it around in my head. I just did it. I stopped planning my lessons immediately before I needed them. Eventually, they were finished days in advance. Dinner was already decided before I became hungry. The little things stopped piling up. One small adjustment became another, then another. None of them felt especially significant. One day, however, I noticed something had changed. I no longer felt as though I was catching up. My life wasn't any less busy. I still taught a full schedule. I still trained. I still had responsibilities. The difference was internal. My mind felt available. Instead of carrying dozens of unfinished thoughts throughout the day, there were usually only 1 or 2 things genuinely waiting for me. Everything else had already been taken care of. Setting them up, knocking them down, one at a time. Looking back, it almost appears as though I designed this version of my life deliberately. I didn't. I just kept solving the next small problem. Years later, those solutions fit together so well, they almost look like a plan. As my health improved, I thought more clearly. Because I thought more clearly, I planned further ahead. Planning reduced unnecessary stress. Reduced stress made healthier decisions easier. Those healthier decisions improved my health even further. The result was a positive feedback loop. One of the biggest misconceptions about preparation is that it takes too much time. My experience has been almost the opposite. Preparation creates time. It creates freedom. It creates calm. It creates room to think. Most importantly, it creates the mental space to become the person you're trying to become. If someone had told me 10 years ago that better preparation would make everyday life feel lighter, I'm not sure I would have believed them. At the time, preparation looked like one more thing demanding my attention. Now, it feels like the reason my attention is finally my own. The biggest transformation wasn't my body. It wasn't my diet. It wasn't even my routine. It was discovering what everyday life feels like when you're no longer constantly trying to mentally catch up. It was getting my mind back. That was the fog I didn't know I was living in. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing, or support the project on Buy Me a Coffee.